Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode.
It is a beautiful end of May day here in Johnson City, Tennessee, the best place on the planet. I'm here with two lovely ladies that you're going to just enjoy getting to meet and talk to and learn all about what they're doing in Johnson City. And so welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm here with Terry Kazmier and Chenoa Pruitt from Jenny Lea Academy and Sugar Mama Spa. Is that how I say that? Sugar Mama Waxing and Spa. We were talking about that earlier. I didn't know all about that, but you guys offer lots of other stuff. So I just thought you guys had Jenny Lea. So I'm excited to learn about that. So first of all, first question, you've listened to the podcast, you said. Yes. So first question is, what is your favorite thing about Johnson City? We'll go with Chenoa first.
Oh, that's my favorite thing. It's probably that there's so much to do. Whether you're an outdoor person, you want to have a great beer at a brewery downtown, or you just want to, chill and relax. And Johnson City has it.
We do. We've got all kinds of great stuff. That was a great answer.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, beat that one.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I will try.
You're not beating it. It's your favorite.
Yeah,
so
she's my favorite. Yeah. She's one of my favorite human beings. No, my big thing is that I'm from Washington, D.C., okay?
Oh, cool.
So being from Washington, D.C., accessibility is huge. And what I mean by accessibility is access to people and places. So for example, in Washington, D.C., you are 5-6 degrees of separation from people you need to meet. Here, somebody knows somebody, just kind of like we were talking about a second ago. Somebody knows them and can do an introduction.
It's like 1 degree of separation.
Absolutely. And I love that. And then I also love that I don't have to plan out my life for the afternoon to do my shopping. Being from Washington, D.C., you really had to lay out, I need to go to Hobby Lobby, then I need to hit that cleaner's just right there on the corner, then I need to go to that meat shop. Like you had to write it down.
3 hours later, you got those 3 things done.
Exactly.
Now you can knock them all out in an hour.
In an hour. It's a beautiful thing.
Faster.
Even faster, exactly. So that's what I love I love the accessibility of Johnson City. And like Chenoa, piggybacking on that, on the things you can do, that is really shocking for me. And to have an airport, that just gets you anywhere you want to be very quickly. Yeah. I love that.
And it's super cool. It's like you walk out there, you throw your bag on the plane, you high five the pilot, sit down.
Exactly. It's so cool.
And then you go to Charlotte or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So the accessibility is what is remarkable. It makes, I think, Johnson City is super special because even if you think about the access to people and places here, it's comparable to Knoxville. Like on a serious note, because even though we don't have the population numbers that
they're
Knoxville
double us
has,
at least, probably maybe 3 times.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here we have that. We have all of those stores. We have all of those people and again, they're so close by.
What's a good word? Because I have a lot of people that go, oh, do you have fancy stores? Like we don't have Louis Vuitton and Chanel and like these fancy. So what would you say to those people? Because we got everything I think we need. And
I think so too, but that's the great part about when you get to go to Charlotte.
There you go.
I feel obligated for my husband to support me and take me to those stores.
Yes. Keep you in the style you're accustomed to.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah. No, but we have a lot of great boutiques here. We really do. So I feel really blessed because even when we are getting things, I don't want to do a pen, but I can. We go to Aslan. We go.
Yeah, she's great. She was on the podcast.
Yeah, she's wonderful. So she's able to get us, and she has such a wide range of styles that she's, and also she gets, few pieces. So, that's the only element, but you don't have the crime, okay?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about locking your car.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's so many beautiful things about Johnson City.
Yeah.
I'm feel blessed. I mean, every time I am blessed to be able to travel, but I'm always so grateful when I'm on that flight from Atlanta or Charlotte back to Tri-Cities, and I'm like, thank you, Jesus,
Yeah, you see the
for bringing me
mountains show
back
up.
here.
Right.
Exactly, because I feel so lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm being so serious.
It
and
is
I
a
know
special place, for
it's so special.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So live in Johnson City,
So no,
Yeah.
Right.
Terry, you grew up in D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Where did you grow up?
Everywhere in the South, I feel like.
We went on tour as a kid.
Yeah, so the Southeast pretty much.
Really?
But I would say Churchill, Tennessee is where I call home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, we love
so,
Churchill.
yeah.
It's beautiful over there.
Right.
So let's talk about how you guys gravitated towards like beauty and all the teaching and waxing and doing all the fun things that are to do in the whole beauty spectrum. Like, how did you guys choose to be cosmetology professionals?
Well, I'm not the cosmetologist. I'm not.
So yeah, and this is why you're going to educate me. Because I don't know.
I'm not part of it, but it's really interesting because Chenoa and I have two different things that we're bringing to the table.
I like
which I
it.
think is really beautiful, and I think that's where we get a lot of awesome synergy between the two of us. So I did graduate from Milligan. I have a degree in accounting.
Nice.
I've always loved the beauty industry. I was a pharmaceutical rep, and I always wanted to be in it. So I was a little upset that I finally had the money to go to a spa, but I worked. And at this time, back in 2008, there was no such thing as a spa being open past 5. That just wasn't the case. They closed at 5 o'clock because that's when the professional world stopped, and they stopped there too.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a way to open up a spa that could service other women. So we started at Fort Henry Mall.
Okay.
And Chenoa graduated from Jenny Lea. So she has an amazing story.
Awesome.
Because she graduated and we came to work together at Sugar Mama.
Okay.
And we just got along really great. Our belief systems all lined up. That's another little thing I'd like to add is that I think people say that it's difficult to do business with a partner, and I dare to disagree with that statement. I'm just so happy we are partners because it lightens the load for both of us. And I appreciate that I have somebody that understands what I'm doing each day, you know, and has respect for that, you know? So anyway.
Yeah. And because then you bounce ideas off each other and the synergy is awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
So Chenoa's story is much more exciting than mine, I feel like, because
Milligan Accounting, that sounds super,
I know it's super easy, but
the Lord made people to be accountants for people who can't.
Exactly.
Like
So, but it's funny. It's full circle with Chenoa and Jenny Lea. So
Right.
Tell me about your story.
So I went into the aesthetics part, which, you don't want me to do your hair.
Gotcha.
So I'm just in the skincare part, but I was always, wanted to be in the beauty industry, but it was more because I wanted to own my own business. I knew because any place I ever worked, I was always moved my way up to the top. So it was very, managing people, working with people. It was just my thing. I knew that was what I wanted to do. And so I went to Jenny Lea, and gosh, a long time ago.
I was going to say, how long ago was
Just
that?
2 years ago.
Just a little while ago.
And then working at Sugar Mama, we've built that, we've grown that. And then Jenny Lea really wasn't on the back burner for us.
Right.
We just really wanted to grow Sugar Mama.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't because there just isn't enough education here for trade.
that's the problem.
And that's the problem.
So you're like, hey, we'll help out by getting school. How did you create, where did the name Sugar Mama come from, and what do you guys do there?
The Sugar Mama started in Fort Henry Mall in Kingsport.
Yep.
And we were there
We were there until 14.
14.
2014. Yeah.
2014, we were at that location, and then we moved to another location, a standalone building.
Nice.
We did that. Then right after moving to that space, within the next year, we opened up Johnson City. And then 4 years later, we opened up the Bristol location. So our intention was just to continue to grow Sugar Mamas because we knew what we were doing. And it was, we had, remodeled the stores and had our advertising down and everything. So that was really our intention. In 2021, I get a call that the school needs someone to buy it or it's going to go, we don't know what's going to happen. So I don't want to say it was going to close down because I don't know that for a fact. But there was an opportunity for us to purchase it. And, for us, it was necessary because for every esthetician that we have employed at Sugar Mama affects our bottom line, period.
Right.
So the more people we have coming in, of course, the more it affects the bottom line. So we wanted to keep having those people able to come in. So if a school closed, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
So we did not want that to happen because that would damage our business model. So
Well, and they leave a big hole in the city, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What's the closest one you were telling me?
Well, at that time, when I had first started going to Jenny Lea, this was the only accredited school in the area. Now there's a few more that have come on, but they're not the size of Jenny Lea. We have between 100 and 150 students at our school. We have 4 programs: barbering, nail, cosmetology, and aesthetics. So
Yeah.
So you graduate 150 people a year? Is that, or is it like quarterly, or how long does it?
Well, it depends. The cosmetology program is the longest, but we're enrolling every 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you're graduating people usually
Constantly.
every 5 to 6 weeks and then enrolling people every 5 to 6 weeks.
That's a lot of graduation services for you guys. I mean,
Yes.
commencement addresses and stuff like that, and
they
parties.
don't really
and-
have, they have a lot of parties.
They do.
We
They
have a
do.
lot of food going
We
around.
do.
I bet. Yeah.
We do. That is so true.
That's fun. Yeah.
That's so true.
So just constantly teaching and growing your students and then funneling them out. And then how many decide to go, hey, thank you so much for teaching me. I want to come to work at Sugar Mama. I mean, do you guys employ a lot of the folks that come through the school? I mean, it sounds like that was kind of the brainchild of why we should take it over.
Right. I won't say we're at a lot of those yet, but we're so new to it.
Gotcha.
But we have had at least a handful of people who are
working
or interested, or hey, as soon as I do this, I want to come there.
Yeah.
So, which has helped us. If we were a full service salon, we don't do hair or barbering, so that kind of limits us.
Okay.
or nails.
Yeah, or nails. But
So it's mainly just cosmetology that you teach at Jenny Lea?
No, what she's
Sorry.
saying at our spas.
Oh, the spas.
Yes.
At the spas, we have aesthetics, and
Gotcha.
aesthetics is specializing in skin, but we
Right.
do have cosmetologists because they have double the number of hours that aesthetics.
Okay, there might
have.
be a guy listening besides me and Mitch right now. So tell us, just so we sound impressive to our wives, we're like, hey, Carly, this is what so tell me what an esthetician does. So
that's all skin primarily. So you're going to go to the spa and have a facial and go to sleep and put cucumbers on your face.
okay, that's what Mitch
That's
and I do
the
on
image
Tuesday
that you're
afternoons after
exactly
this. Okay,
exactly.
perfect. And then what's a cosmetologist do? Or what are the other?
Cosmetology is going to, everybody thinks of hair.
Okay. Yep.
That's primarily what they focus on. Now they can do skin and they can do nails, but they focus primarily on hair.
Okay.
Barbering, of course.
Yep.
Barbers, they're the same thing. They
Yeah.
can do skin, they can do nails, but they primarily focus on barbering.
So if I go to Jenny Lea and I sign up, and then is there do you take a direction? Or do you just become a licensed cosmetologist that can do hair, skin, nails,
You'll
all that
choose
stuff?
your program.
So you're going to choose
Yeah,
your...
you're going to come in, tour, see everything that's going on, because that's really the big sell for us is
Okay.
when people come to the
Yeah.
school. Because I think sometimes people, they have this idea in their mind when they get there for what they want to do, but then when they get there, like, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Huh,
I think
I didn't
could
even know I could do that. Right.
Yeah. Or, wow, that girl, she's barbering, and she's doing a great job. I didn't know I could be a barber. So it's things like that when they see it, then they get to choose their path.
Gotcha.
Not that they can't, move. They can transition, but it's just, there's some things that go into that.
Are there any other things like that you were looking at going, oh, we should add on this kind of degree to partner in with that? Or is it all, you kind of feel like, hey, we're doing it at a high level already, and now we're just going to look at expanding it and growing it?
Well, right now, we're about to come into our third year in the business. So right now, we're just trying to perfect a lot of the processes.
Sure.
So right now, we are not at a point of adding any additional programs.
Okay.
We're just wanting to create more awareness
Yeah.
in the area. And like Chenoa said, going to visit the school, like we're 15,000 square feet. We are not.
It's a big building.
It's a big building. There's a lot of staff, admin team, there's instructors. There's so much going on that you need to walk in there and not go with what you've heard, because there's so many things that people have so many preconceived notions about the beauty industry. And one thing, if I have a parent listening to this right now, I'd love to say, don't cry if your child says they want to go to this industry.
Right.
Because this is an industry that people were fighting over. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, was getting her hair done, okay? Whether you like her or not. You know what I mean?
She's probably paying some big bucks.
Exactly. So the whole thing is that we're here to stay. Artificial intelligence is not taking over this profession.
Sure.
It's going to be a long time before you trust someone to go and do your lashes, or put a skin peel on you, or color your hair, or any of that.
Right.
So I think it's an industry that is the long haul, and I think I think the trades are something that people are seeing how necessary it is.
Yeah.
And the road to college is not for everyone. I flunked out the first time. So
I took a little break.
So, it's not all roads go in that direction.
Right.
So that being said, I think that it's a great opportunity for people to really show their personality and really make some money. One of the things that we constantly say is that this is not a hobby job.
It's not.
You know what I mean? And, you being a realtor, you have those part-time realtors not doing any shuns on anybody, but, it's not the same when you're full-time doing something.
Right. Yeah.
When you are full-time in this industry, you buy houses, you buy cars, you affect the economy.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times people are not understanding that there's a lot of cash associated with it. So when you go to these per income that they're talking about, we're not talking about those cash tips.
Right.
Because my girls aren't giving me, I made, for $50 this afternoon, I want you to go ahead and add that to the IRS on my paycheck.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
So there is, I think that the numbers for what the income potential is not really stated correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that anyone is doing something dishonest in the industry. That is not what I'm saying. It's just that if someone gives you $50, you're not going to go to the IRS and say, I want you to tax me on this. Terry was so nice and gave me $50 today.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it after you give me $50, Terry.
Yeah. I'm going to go get 20 of
That's
it.
right. That's right.
It's Uncle Sam.
You know what I mean? So
Well, tell for the listeners, what is that income coming out of your school? What are they? What are your students? What are they making coming out the first couple years? And then tell us about what they can do with a degree from your all school financially. What are some of the numbers that they're making? Because like you said, a lot of mom and pops may think it's like, oh, my son's going to make not very much money cutting hair or being a barber or whatever, or being an esthetician. She's not going to, he or she's not going to do well doing that. But they make money, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
The thing that we get into the situation of is that there are all kinds of business models. Okay.
Yes.
So we always recommend to people first coming out is again, no one goes and starts a business out of college or out of a real estate class. They go and join a firm. And I really recommend that to our students. It's a big jump just to go out and, you learn a basic skill set when you go to school.
Yeah.
And then you're perfecting that as you get out, and you want to be running a business too. That's just a lot on a person.
It is hard to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you have to wear all the hats.
All the hats.
You get paid to wear the hat that's making you money, which is doing all the services that you guys teach your students how to do. And so, I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah. So income, a lot of times people in particular will say, oh, I want to go do booth rent because I only have to pay, I don't know, $200 a week and I get to keep all the money myself.
Booth rent is where you show up, like you're in a salon and there are different stations and you just rent that station for $200 a week. And then
but that's really hard because you don't have this reservoir of clients as you first start out in any business.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right. And all your friends are like, you practice on somebody first.
Bingo.
We'll see how you do before I give you a shot.
Oh my gosh, you have done this rodeo. You understand what I'm talking about.
I could feel it.
So we always suggest people going out into the industry, and of course they're making typically a percentage of sales and a percentage of tips. At the same time. So that is a combination. Now, all of these numbers mix and match.
And I'm just asking for ballpark figures. For like, if you came out of school.
I would definitely say that a person coming out of school is going to do between $40,000 to $60,000 a year. And that's great. I think it's great. I think it is too, considering people who will come out with a 4-year degree who will not make that kind of money at all.
They cannot, for sure.
Exactly.
Or they can make more, but you never know, right?
You never know. So it's just that whole debt that you're adding onto it. And right now, we have a plethora of English degrees and marketing.
All these little things that aren't a trade skill that are
exactly.
producing
So
income.
this is why the trade, it's hurt by having this whole thing of college is better.
Right.
And that was what was preached to me. Okay. It was. My family was like, you're going to college no matter what.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about it is that it didn't equate to economic freedom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you're younger than I am, but like my parents were like, you get a college degree and that gets you a job,
absolutely.
It's just part of the progression. And now I think it's you get a college degree and then maybe a master's or a doctorate or something, and then you might get a job,
Right.
Because
absolutely.
the pressure is just out there. It's hard. So
and it's so competitive.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about return on investment. How much does it cost to go to your school?
You're looking at anywhere between $10,000 and $18,000.
Okay, so
it's still cheaper, and it's based on the program.
Yeah.
But it's still cheaper than getting a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
And it's a shorter amount of time. You're going to spend the max amount of time you're going to spend at our school if you go full time.
Sure.
Clearly.
Like, hey, I'm going all in.
Yeah. It's about 15 months. That's the max.
Yeah, like a year and a half. Yeah. Almost.
And you'll be done.
And then you're out, you can make $40,000 to $60,000.
Yeah.
So
and that is
your return on investment, you're going to pay, like if you borrowed all that and you just ate lima beans your first year, you could pay it off in the first year if you wanted to. Easily.
Easy.
You really could. And even with the hair and the cosmetologists make even more. I just gave you a salary for aesthetics.
Yeah.
So, the nail, I'm not really... the nail salons are just blowing it out of the water. The hairstylist, the barbers, because, men like yourself, you seem very groomed.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. Getting back that 50.
That's right. That's the way I
No, but, men are really wanting those spaces that they don't feel like are very feminine, but are catering to men. My husband loves that stuff.
Yeah, I go to C.S. McCullough's and it feels like you're going to go, downtown, hanging out at a bar almost.
Exactly.
Not that it's a bar, it's just it has that feel, like the brick walls and just kind of feels manly.
It's very masculine.
Right.
And so you're seeing that trend that men are spending their time on, one of our board members at the school is Bob Klinker, and he has Sports Clips. And, Bob is always saying, you won't believe how much men, after COVID, I guess when people were on Zoom, that men started doing all those hot towel treatments. He said before it never happened. They would just come to Sports Clip, get a haircut, and be in and out the door.
Yeah.
And he said now they are actually coming in and they are wanting the steam put on their face, and just a basic cleanse, tone, moisturize, which, is really cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's not being considered effeminate. It's part of keeping up your masculine identity.
Right.
You're
like, I don't care, like what you think. I'm going to get a hot towel on my face.
Exactly.
Not a big deal.
Exactly. And you come to Sugar Mama and get a facial.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Or
Carly,
Jenny
we're
Lea.
gonna have to go to poor Jenny. Yeah. Talk to us about like becoming like a cosmetologist. There's a lot of hours of training as well. It's not like you just go to school. You got to do a lot of training too, right? And so how much? I mean, we had Craig Charles on here. He may be coming out the week. I don't know. A few weeks ago on this show, and he said it was I think 1,500 hours. Is that right?
It's 1,500 hours total, yeah. And you have now. You're not going to get started your first week and then start seeing people.
Right.
Okay. We're not going to do that.
We're gonna pump the brakes a little bit.
That's, exactly. And that's what I feel like a lot of people are nervous when they want to coming to a school to get a service because they're afraid, oh my gosh, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's not the case. They're going to spend so many hours, hundreds of hours behind, like working on themselves.
Right.
Studying, training, testing out. Teachers are testing them out on these services before they move to the floor. But then once they move to the floor, then they have, an 800 to, 1,000 hours hands-on time with people, which is what you need when you get out in the field, which makes it, different than a degree because you're getting that hands-on time.
Right.
Whereas
like a
just
carpenter, electrician, you're working in the trade and
you're
learning how to
it.
do it with
You're
a
learning
mentor and teachers and
Yeah.
And
why not?
piggybacking what Chenoa is saying, in addition to that, the instructors are licensed and they are giving them those hands-on training with like if you were to walk in as a client, you would say, okay, I want to have blonde tips put on my hair and I want it shaved down on the sides and all that kind of stuff. They would walk through and the instructor walks them through the process of what colors they're going to add. And they're talking about this. And the more they get through the program, the more often they're making these decisions where they're going to their instructor and kind of going back and saying, okay, is this the right plan?
Right.
Yes, this is the correct plan. So it helps build their confidence. So when they get out into the real world and they have their own paying clients coming to see them, they have a level of confidence because they had to make those decisions
ahead of time when the risk was a little lower.
Right, exactly. Well, you're not offered that. I never had an opportunity when I was in school. I had to work my summers to have a job. So I didn't really go into the accounting industry per se and get that experience. So when I came out and I was starting to look and couldn't find a job, well, then I go into sales because, at least I'm nice and talk to people. I'm not saying there's more to that than as a pharmaceutical rep. Please beat that heart out. Okay. I had too many friends who were reps. They will say, oh, she couldn't get a job. She wouldn't get a job. It's a very coveted position, okay? There's 500 people applying for one position as a pharmaceutical rep. So
it's a competitive industry.
It's very competitive
it pays
industry.
Very well,
Yes, and it pays.
And you got to be super sharp. Not just nice, but super sharp too.
Absolutely. So
because you're learning a lot of data.
Absolutely. So when I was looking at jobs, I thought, oh, that might be something that I might do well at, and it was correct. I did do well in that arena, so it was a wonderful job. But when I finally had the money to go to a spa, I couldn't go to a spa
because there wasn't one.
There wasn't one open after 5 o'clock because again they were catering to the professional people's hours. So with us being open at a mall, we were able to see clients who were everyday working women from 5 to 9, and we were booked. Now, not necessarily from 8 to 9. We had to clean up because people we're at
The
home
5
at
to
that
8,
point.
right,
But
yeah.
5 to 8, we're busy.
Yeah.
You know, and even still today, we don't stay open till 8 anymore. We're just open till 7 at the spas. But people coming in, those evening appointments are booked out way in advance, just like a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it allows people to have more freedom when they have accessibility to later appointments.
Absolutely.
How does someone make an appointment at one of your spas? What's the best way to do that for our listeners online right now? Our listeners.
Online. Go to the website.
Go to the
Go to the website. Go to
Yeah,
the
what's the
website. Yes.
website?
SugarMamaWaxing.com. They're going to do that.
SugarMamaWaxing.com.
Now, if they want to come to Jenny Lea as a client to get a service, they're going to want to call
Okay.
and book that appointment. We don't
Okay.
have the online booking available for that yet.
Yet. I like
Yet.
it. There you go.
And the tours, now if they want to be a student,
Yeah.
they can actually book their tour online.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
they'll just go to Jenny Lea Academy.
Gotcha. So you offer services at Jenny Lee.
We do.
You can. And are these with the licensed people, or these are some of the students? Do you get a
These
discount?
are
Like kind of like you could go to ETSU and get your teeth cleaned cheaper when they're
Yes,
teaching?
exactly.
Same
it's a,
thing.
It's a
It's the
discount.
same thing.
It's a
Gotcha.
discount, and they are so excited to see you. So it's a big difference in price between a spa and a school.
Gotcha.
But that's what allows us to get more people in to visit the school.
Sure.
Because it's more affordable
Yeah.
for people. So
Absolutely.
That's cool. What do you guys see like the future if you're looking at Sugar Mama, Jenny Lee? What are your 5-year plans, 10-year plans? Any ideas?
well, for the school, of course, we'd like to expand out for the school. We have
So expand out like another location, maybe.
Yeah.
We're thinking about that. Yes.
I like it.
That's kind of where we're moving with that. As for Sugar Mama, you know, first of all, I want to make sure if anyone hears this, you know, we send people to work at our competitors. Okay. So it is not a thing just for us to have workers. I can't.
125
No.
people.
No, there's no way we
Right.
can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But, you know, we are really wanting to support the area because even with, you know, sometimes people will say to me, well, aren't you scared about other schools? No, I'm not scared about other schools, okay? Because there's a place for everyone. And I think that the more people are aware of the industry,
Yeah.
that awareness brings more people into the industry.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a good thing. 'cause
Well, I think
people-
you and I share the abundance mindset. Like there's plenty of people
Absolutely.
out there. There's plenty of business out there. I just got to go get, we say our unfair share. Like I want to get a little extra, you know, like I don't want to be average.
I'm
I
gonna
want to
remember
be,
that, my unfair
I'm
share.
going to get a little more. You know,
Exactly.
because I'm going to work a little harder. I'm going to hustle a little bit more. And get after,
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. So
And that's
that-
the American dream, Mike. You can become whatever you want.
I think
Absolutely.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say that coming from Washington, D.C., if I tried to open up a spa, it would have been very difficult. Where I had a lot of support from the chamber in Kingsport when we came to Johnson City, the Johnson City Chamber. We went to Bristol, the Bristol Chamber. I would not have had access to those people. And again, that brings me all the way back to why I love Johnson City, because that access matters.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. People can say, oh, y'all are country down there. You don't have this, you don't have that. And I go, oh, that's fine. But you don't have any money to do anything else but pay your house payment.
That's right.
How about that?
There you go. You got to work 80 hours a week to do it. Too.
Exactly. You know, so for me, I just would choose peace
Yeah.
over that. And I welcome anyone who's wanting to go into that, you know, into this industry,
Yeah.
who's wanting to open up a spa. I'm open to anyone wanting to open up a school because it does take hard work. But I think, again, like you said, Chenoa and I 150% believe in abundance. Like
Right.
you can't take what God's already ordained for me. Like
Right.
you just can't.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about what you're doing,
There
and
you
I'm
go.
not
Right.
worried about
Right.
where you're at.
Right. It's where do you get your identity? Who do you believe
No.
is the supplier of everything good? I mean,
Exactly,
do you have to go take
exactly.
it from somebody else, or is there tons of it coming from the Lord?
Absolutely. And that's our big thing is that for the school, you know, and why we're even wanted to talk with you here is that Chenoa and I wanted to get outside of our own bubble because we we kind of just go home to work,
Yeah.
and go to a friend's house for dinner, you know?
And
So
it's easy to get in a rhythm like that.
It is.
But I think it's cool that you guys want to come out and like say, hey, we want to let people in Johnson City know about us, but then also they can reach out to you for help, you know?
Absolutely. You know, and that's what we feel like we are at this point, is that we are shepherding this school. And hopefully by them seeing the values that we have, that they will actually internalize those values and take them out into the community. Because a lot of things, you know, we're so into test taking at schools that there's not a lot of times where you're able to get that time with one-on-one like you would like. Not anything to any teacher's fault. It's just regulations, and it is what it is.
It's just a demand. I mean,
It's
you got
a
so many
demand.
people on there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think that what makes Jenny Lea special is that we do have those people there. You are going to get the help. And even after you graduate, we're going to help you with placement for position.
That's
because
good.
we're
Yeah,
being
it's not like, hey, we're throwing you out on the street.
absolutely. So, and we have, you know, people that actually assist with this, with helping with the resume, helping with interviews. Now, I could only lead a horse to water. I can't make you drink the water.
Right.
But the water's there.
Right. Well,
And we're
you-
offering that for everyone.
Yeah, and you get them in the opportunity. They've got to work hard and
Absolutely.
follow up and be nice. I mean, and learn the skills, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You got
Because a lot of times, you know, we always joke that in our industry, you know, you become so many people's best friend,
Oh, yeah.
because it's such a personal, you're so personal, you know.
Well, and you see the same person over and over and over, you know,
And they
regularly.
know your life, you know, and they know what's going on, and they're following up with, oh, I need to get in because this is graduation, and I
Right.
need to get in because this is my friend's wedding, and I need to get in for this. So you know all of those big things, you know, life moments for them that you become very, very close.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really special industry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's pretty cool. To know who have been some people who have influenced you along the way that you'd like to say thank you. Anybody that was like a mentor to you?
Well, besides Terry.
No, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have to say, honestly, you know, Jenny Lea Lewis, we purchased the school from Jenny Lea Lewis. And I have to honestly say, if you hear her story, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, you know, going there, and then it just kind of did this full circle, and then we were able to purchase it. And I think there'd been, you know, probably a few other people came to the table trying to, you know, and she didn't really connect. But then once we came in, and she was like, oh, don't I know you? You know?
Yeah.
But listening to her story, that it was kind of a rags to riches kind of thing, that was very, I mean, for me, it was just an amazing story.
Yeah.
So knowing that in school, you know, we knew that, I knew that about her in school, and being able to be, you know, what somebody from, you know, Harlan, Kentucky can do at, you know, 14 years old. And then
We need to get her on here. That'd be a great story.
so
She's
really was, yeah, she really is, you know,
It's your
her story
inspiration.
speaks,
Yeah, I can tell
she
that you
speaks
care
volumes.
about her. Yeah, care about her a lot. That's cool. Terry, anybody that was in your life that inspired you, helped you along the way?
Well, I really feel really blessed that I get to be around a lot of amazing people, you know? I am not as brave as Chenoa to say one person's name. Because I've had a lot of people speak into my life, but, you know, I think that for me, again, not worried about people's politics, but when I first started the business, Diane Harshbarger, who's our current congresswoman, she kind of took me under her wing because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't.
That's awesome.
And she was just kind of like, okay, let me just tell you how to market. And she's in between patients and everything. And I'm talking to her at her pharmacy, and she's really spoken into Chenoa in our life about expanding our dreams,
Oh, that's
you
cool.
know.
Yeah.
And Diana, again, is another rags to riches story, because she would never say she was, riches is on her, but just to be in the position that she's in for so much leadership in our community. And she really is that amazing.
Right.
That, she just really talks into our lives and really helps us about where we want to go and how to do it. And then it's so awesome when where they grew up. I mean, she grew up in Lynn Garden,
Right.
And we all know where Lynn Garden is over in Kingsford.
Oh, yeah.
And then for her to rise to our congresswoman and no telling
Where she'll go.
where she's going to go. That's really inspiring when you know that person and you met them before they were that position.
Right.
And when they were just with one pharmacy, and her and Bob ended up having like 100 pharmacies. But anyway, the whole thing of it is that was really inspiring, to hear that. But, also Tony Robbins,
Yeah, and that was another thing. Nowadays, you can if you don't have anyone around you, you can get online and listen to podcasts.
Absolutely.
You can watch YouTube videos. I watch motivational YouTube videos all the time. I think it drives Carly nuts because I come home after working out. I'm like, I listen to a video.
Every day.
That's great. You got to put good stuff in if you want to get stuff
in. I was listening to someone say that, of course, we don't need an enemy because our head, all of the negative thoughts we think of ourselves.
Well, there's an enemy out there working against us anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they were saying for every negative thing you say about yourself, you're having to do 17 affirmations to wash that out.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, just the things I thought about myself that weren't true,
Right.
that maybe I don't think a teacher intentionally made me feel like I wasn't the smartest person, but then I made me question myself.
Sure.
And then you wonder, am I an imposter?
Right.
And then when you start going to a lot of the seminars, because Chenoa and I are big on education.
Sure.
So not only do we have the school and we are wanting to educate people, but we ourselves are at courses all year round, all the time, because that's the only way we can grow from what we know. Because if I stopped, I wouldn't have what I have today. Chenoa and I were both adamant where things were really uncomfortable to pay for some of these seminars, but they were the best thing we ever did, because when you get around people and you're like, well, you're not that smarter than me,
right?
And or you're doing all of that, and
you put your pants on the same way
exactly.
I do. Right.
So it builds a little bit of courage inside of you. So,
but then you get to realize too, those people are willing to help too. You're like, I got a crazy question, I'm going to call you, and you're going to help me out.
Yeah, that has been the biggest blessing.
Isn't that the best? Because a lot of people, I think, at the top realize that there's an abundance.
There's an abundance, absolutely, and that's the whole thing for us, is that Chenoa and I have always wanted to mentor, and it was kind of like this was the way to do it. Was actually doing is through the school.
Right.
And we want to impact this area. So in order to do that, we have to bring the best version of ourselves to the table, which requires the things that you do in the dark when nobody's watching.
That's exactly right. That's character.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we just are really, I feel really blessed to have Chenoa as a business partner.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people go, oh, women can't get along. No, it's not women. It's crazy.
Right.
Men or women.
Correct.
Can't get along.
Right. It's the same like with a good marriage, right?
Exactly.
Like Carly makes me better because she brings a lot of things to the table that I don't bring, and then I come alongside her and help her with the things that I do well, And so we're a good team. And like you guys, you're an accountant person, and she's doing all the wonderful things, managing the people there, that she does well.
Absolutely. So that's where we have that synergy together. And that's the one thing I wish more people understood, that it does take a tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't want to, they want to hear the story of like a Jeff Bezos story, but most of the CEOs, even from, Steve Jobs, what was his name? Stephen Grewowski, what was his name? He was his business partner. Oh, because there were two Steves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Wanowski.
Wanowski, thank you. So there was those people, and they had that partnership. So I think that people think that's the truth, but it's not.
Nobody's done it on their own.
No one's done it on their own. They have a lot of support, and I think that when people realize that, they can really really get going and get their life on a path, you know, and this is uncomfortable for me to be talking with you today. I wish I could say, oh,
Well, it doesn't seem like it. You're doing a great job.
well, you know what, so this is what I know you would say, but it is hard.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where Chenoa and I were talking over the weekend about what we wanted to make sure we shared and getting our thoughts out just to, you know, put them in some type of order that maybe we can get this message out to somebody and it resonates with just one, you know what I mean? And then another one resonates with another one. And you just, that's what I really believe changes everything.
I agree. Yeah. So, Noah, have we covered everything?
I think so.
Anything
I
else
think
that you guys that we forgot to ask or talk about?
I don't think we missed anything.
No, but fall is starting.
Oh,
Sign up at Jenny Lea.
yes, I have a Jenny Lea.
Nice. There you go. You got to
Go to the website.
You gotta get out there and ask for the business. That's right.
Ask for it, you know, and if you want people that are licensed, I know a lot of those people, and we have them also in aesthetics at Sugar Mama Waxing.
Yeah, so just come, just get on a call for the tour or go online for the
They
tour.
can book a tour online.
Okay. Yeah.
If somebody wants to come in and get a service, then they need to call for
Then
that.
they got to call. But just, it's not going to hurt you to go check that out.
No,
No,
Not at all.
You're also
absolutely
going to
not.
meet some wonderful people.
absolutely.
And you might even get your hair did while you're there.
There it is.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. You all are
Thank
awesome. I'm
you.
excited for what you're doing. You're making our city better. You're making us look better, and which makes us feel better. And then we go out and love people better. So it's like this. I think it's a huge part of life for what you guys do. It's just awesome. And so, I wish you the best. I look forward to hearing about your story. You can come back in a few years and tell me you've got 10 academies all across the country now. I don't know.
Hey, you said it.
I'm just throwing it out there. So, I think it's going to be fun to watch you all go because you guys are just great spirits, and I just wish you the best, and I hope God blesses you over and over. And thank you all for listening today. Thank you for being a part of our podcast. We're excited, and if you want to get down here and meet these ladies, or just come to Johnson City, I'll give you a tour of the city, and then I'll drop you off and you can get a tour of Jenny Lea. And then, but we would love to help you buy a house. Carly and I love helping people move here. We love helping people invest in real estate. So that's something you guys could do, and we manage it and help people build wealth all the time. It's just a lot of fun. And so it's fun because it's a great place to live because of people like you all. So thank you so much for what you do, and I'm looking forward to
And
catching
thank
up
you for
soon.
doing this,
Oh, my
because
pleasure.
honestly, when I was researching you, I was like writing down all of the places I needed to go into Johnson City.
Right.
So I'm always doing that with Amy's show.
Oh, yeah.
With Daytime Tri-Cities, they have events going, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, because they're having, especially, you know, I'm a big into the food.
Yeah.
I love food, and I love high quality food.
Same.
So I really appreciate listening to some of the podcasts.
Well,
on
thank you
that.
for
So,
listening. It's a lot of fun, and I feel very blessed to be able to talk to great people each week, and then share their story and what they're doing in our community and their business. And I just want to help their business grow and develop, and it'll just continue to grow our city and more abundance, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Have a great day.